Hey guys, so this project took a little bit of time to complete, but that doesn't mean it was hard to do. So I started off by using one of these pine wooden planks that I purchased at Home Depot, but as you can see, you can also get them at Hobby Lobby. I wiped it down quickly, then stained it with a walnut stain. Here you can see the difference, the before and after. That was the easy part. Okay, so the next part was a bit of a trial and error for me because I forgot to calculate the dimensions of the letters before printing them out, and so initially they were too big. And usually when I do signs like these, I use stencils for the lettering. But once I got that part figured out, it was simply a matter of lining them up on the wooden plank and then taping them down. Here I was just checking to make sure everything was lined up pretty decently before moving on to the next step, which was transferring the letters onto the wood. Now, there are a number of ways to do this, but the easiest and fastest way I found for me was to go over the letters with a bit of pressure, thereby creating a slight indentation or depression into the wood. By the way, I'm actually using an old ironing board as a table to work on. In fact, I've made many porch signs on this ironing board. So I traced all the letters except the flower because I had something else in mind for it. Besides, it can always be added later, as long as the letters are lined up properly. Now, you can't really see a darn thing looking at it this way, especially with this overhead lighting. But the letters are there, I can see them. Now I'm going over all the letters with a paint marker. Next, the fun part, painting all these letters in different colors. So for the flower part, I wanted to do 2 flowers, one flat and one raised, just to give it a bit of dimension. So I transferred a design on a piece of wood, a round wood that I actually got at Dollar Tree, and then cut it out with my mini scroll saw. Here I'm just trying to figure out how I want the flowers laid out on the board. Of course, you don't have to do any of this. You could just trace out and paint the single flower and just be done with it. So I had a hard time seeing the outline under this lighting, so eventually I went over it with some chalk. But then I realized, duh, I could have used the actual wooden flower. And finally, the hello part, which I designed on Cricut Design Space. But you can write yours on, or even buy a hello wood sign and glue that on. And that was it for this side. Now it's on to the next side, the Hello Summer side, which I did exactly the same way, with a few minor exceptions. I ran out of printer paper, so I used lined paper, which turned out to be a good thing for my flip-flops. And I used the chalking technique again to highlight the details, and the letters were all done in white. So, using this technique of applying pressure on wood when tracing out anything, the possibilities are endless when it comes to creating any kind of wood sign. Over the years, I've made many signs for others using this technique. So don't be afraid to give it a try, guys. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. Thanks so much for watching.